I can actually say I'm concerned when I see some of these questions, because you find that our education tends to be leaning on one side and leaving out this. So we graduate and we just know kazi yetu ni procure, manage fleet ya magari, to know inventory levels, to inspect, to write professional opinions. Yet there is a whole big world out here. And this is why I say, when we have leaders and we have academia, okay, and we have the industry players all working together, you can imagine how that can actually propel us to greater heights. So when I say I'm supply chain coded, it does not mean that I have like level 5. I'm an expert. No, it just means that I love supply chain. And most of us do. But we have not reached a point that we are able to narrow, our interests and say I'm more of an analytical person. And this is where I want to go, because these spaces can be created in the public sector. We recently saw NTSA, okay, and someone can say it has nothing to do with supply chain. But what do we learn in supply chain? Operations, performance management. Why do we have so many papers talking about how we are performing? Is it only the customers and suppliers or our organization? No. We forget that we have products, we have services, we have information, we have money that is exchanged upstream and downstream. So again, coding, and I stand corrected, but since COVID and the ripple effects and the disruptions that we've had, it's about time we start being inclusive and appreciating that, yes, we do have these kind of technologies, but how now can we leverage our skills, our education, and personnel around us so that we can all grow? Now, something else before I forget is that having ICT does not mean that we've broken, the silo walls. No, it hasn't. And I'm going to actually show you, we can use ICT, but we can still be working as silos and using IT and believing that we're integrated. No, we are not. But anyway, what did this person say about supply chain professionals needing to have coding skills? So, is it useful for supply chain professionals to learn how to code? Absolutely. Absolutely. It is one of my biggest regrets not learning to code earlier. I'm not even that old, but in supply chain, we called a lot of this operations research, which at that time, I didn't realize it was sort of like Python. Anyway, please ignore any supply chain person that tells you that learning code wouldn't be beneficial to you, to your career in supply chain. It would not only be beneficial, but you will be part of a very rare group of individuals. In fact, I'd like to talk to you when you've learned to code. Please look for this question and read that conversation. And for me, I started learning how to code during the COVID period. Okay. And let me show you some of the sites that you can actually use. This is one, IBM. Please come here, look for skills that you can actually get with regards to AI, coding, blockchain, machine learning, quantum computing, all that. It is here, it is available. You can pay for some, and others are actually free. Coursera, another platform where you can learn. And always believe that learning is a continuous process. Even at my age, I still learn. You know, learning is a continuous process. Mtu asikupee pressure that they know and they don't know. Again, understand that we have bosses and we have leaders. When you have a right mentor, then you are able to grow. You are able to also discern toxic environments, etc. You put them aside and you grow. Another website is this one, edX. Quite good again. Jobs. Just have a look at this. Have a look at this. When I tell you that there are very many opportunities for us to grow, that is, say this one. Okay. Supply chain analytics. Basic salary. You're able to actually see what other people are doing out there. But then we are so used to just focusing on procurement that we are missing out on all these other components in which we can grow. Now, what tools can you come up with? Now, when you come to Tendersville portal, and then you come to resources, these are some of the tools that you can come up with. EOQ calculator. Instead of spending a whole afternoon on Excel spreadsheets, etc., with your coding skills, you can come up with an EOQ calculator. Or you can just come to this website and try it out. Bullwhip effect. Now, this is where you apply your knowledge. When you understand how your supply chain works, you can be able to say, when it comes to these products and looking at certain trends, seasons, etc., this is what normally happens. So how can I be able to manage like the ripple effect of, the bullwhip effect? Demand forecasting. I am sure you have seen a number of jobs. For example, Diageo. I keep on talking about Diageo. You have Unilever. Okay. Those kind of organizations, you will find that they source for or they look for, and they do have people who are demand managers. So what if you want to be a supply chain analyst? That's the right place to be. You can imagine with your coding skills what you can do, because it means that they do appreciate the data. So you have to work on appreciating the right data, because if you get the wrong data, then what are you going to be analyzing? You understand? Then product stage tracker. Now, you can imagine in this case, I, on this end, as a supply chain person, I key in the information and say that this product has now moved from manufacturing, it has gotten to warehousing. This is still manual, but you can come up with a more complex one, because supply chain is quite complex. This is quite simple, basic. Okay? And this is why I was saying, when you're looking at developing such an application, you need to be working with the different managers from the different functions, so that when it now comes to this product has moved from manufacturing to now the warehouse, okay, then you're able to key in that data. Now, earlier I had actually mentioned that we use such technologies and believe that we are integrated. And at a basic level, looking at such an application, you can see why we are still not integrated, because I can now change it to warehousing. The warehousing person can say now it has now gone to distribution. Distribution can now say retail, etc. But there is no communication in between the departments or the personnel, because we need to actually break down all those walls. Now, you can also imagine that you want to understand what the distribution are doing. You want to have visibility on that. You want to have visibility on your customer. What kind of customer do you have? Are you operating on a 80-20, kind of scenario, so that you know this is a big customer, they purchase in bulk, okay? And this is a big account. When it comes now to the transporter, how do they behave? This driver, what is this, the fuel consumption? What kind of reviews do I get from customers regarding our distribution? How about manufacturing? Are you able to narrow down to batches? Are you able to integrate with the other systems like QR codes, scanners? Okay. You can actually debate and say, no, this is only for private sector. No, again, it can be done in the public sector. Now, I can also decide to look at market price indexes and say, rather than spending a whole week looking for the price of something like this, a cup, from different suppliers, why not come up with an application, API calls, where you actually get just the data coming down. You can have it color coded, okay, so that the ones which are within your spectrum, you are able to track that, and the supplier. You are able to track how our contractor is performing. When it comes to contract management, you're also able to follow through. Are we able to look back and say, this supplier, kazi yake tu ni could deliver late? Is there a trend? Are you able to actually follow through? Okay, these are some of the data that we need, but we are not getting. So again, rather than just knowing how a tender works, supply chain analytics can come, in, and you can be able to even come up with models to show that these kind of suppliers do not perform. But then you see, here we are now introducing things like machine learning, okay, in which you are able to predict like how a person behaves, or how, looking at kind of one or two data, you are able to train that data and know that when you find A, B, C, D, this person is not going to perform. We have models in HR in which a person is able to look at certain attributes and say that this employee, should we employ them, they are going to leave within 3 months. So why don't we have that in supply chain? I actually shared that idea a while back, and someone said, in your environment, it cannot be done. But we are not having those conversations. We are not. Let's look at another tool that you can come up with. Okay. You can have a plot generator. We've been talking about sustainability. Okay. You can calculate that. You can read that. And also look at the trailer carbon emission calculator. You can be able to know this trailer emits this amount, this trailer, this amount. But then again, you can be able to do that. But if we don't have other agencies that can support you, then being green is just another thing. But these are just some tools that we can come up with as supply chain people and practitioners. You want to get into being a business owner, you can come up with an app. You can come up with an app, or you can consult with different organizations and come up with, this kind of applications. But then again, you need to have the right mentors and people around you who can actually tell you, yeah, this is the right way to go. These are the people to talk to. We have the right networking events for you to actually showcase. Yes, it can be done. The supply chain space is big, but we need to start having this kind of conversations. And again, you can, I believe in us working together. Instead of working alone and you go fast, rather we work together and go far. And that can be done. And this is how you can actually use coding. Now, you can imagine if we now integrate blockchain to it. I have actually seen quite a number of theses that looking at basic applications we can use in supply chain, in real estate, from Kabarak University, from Strathmore, from USIU. People are actually doing it. People are doing it. So it is about all these parties coming together. Again, at the bottom, feel free to leave a comment. Let's have more interaction. And if you want to get into Supply Chain Coded Forum, please feel free to join, start a conversation. If you're a student, invite others, have a discussion there. Share with the supply chain practitioners. Okay, ask them a question or two. Suppliers, you can ask practitioners a question or two. You can market yourself. The reason as to why we're actually having that forum open is that sometimes it's hard to have a space where we can talk about controversial things. And if you have a controversial topic and you want to remain anonymous, please reach out. I can post it for you. We can discuss it on YouTube, TikTok, Supply Chain Forum, let it be out. We have a Reddit community. So thank you for watching. Until next time. And please like and subscribe. Thank you.